The most important person in the whole wide world is you, and you hardly even know you. The most important person in the whole wide world is you. Come on, we'll show you. Let's find out more about the things you feel and do, 'cause you're the most important person in the world to you.
Hello, 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 and welcome to One4ALLisLove with Sonya Spirit, and I am Sonya Spirit. And today's show, February 5th, 2020, the title is Appreciating Life. And this should be an interesting one. There's a lot going on. So with the year 2020, we had a discussion a few sessions earlier or a few episodes earlier about the year 2020 being all about the four energy. And I'm sure 20 has its own energy as well. Maybe 2002 has its own energy. But I like to focus on the single digits. And, of course, the four energy is all about the physical manifestation, the foundation, stability, groundedness, the square, family, things of that nature. And it was interesting how last episode, the topic of discussion was death. And I know someone's like, why is it interesting? You make them up. Yes, I do. However, I generally wait to be inspired with a thought. So, things may occur and I might think about doing a show around it, but then something will come to me and I'll know that that's supposed to be the direction that I'm to go in. So anyway, last week's episode being about death, of course, yes, death in the physical sense in terms of the end of a life cycle, but also death as just the end of something. Because there's death or the ending always is the prelude to a new beginning. But if we get bogged down or distracted by the ending, many of us may not even see, let alone lose sight of, we never see it to begin with, the opportunity or the blessing on the other side. So, we have this event, and there are different ways of looking at it. But for the most simplistic reasons, we'll say there are three ways of looking at it: bad, good, and indifferent. And indifferent can be defined many ways. So can good and bad, but generally bad is bad and good is good, so we have a clear understanding of that. But indifferent can be just being dispassionate, not being emotionally bound either way, or it could be a character flaw in terms of being aloof, so it's like you cannot be attached. Oh, okay, let's see what we have going on here. We have a caller. Let's see here. Hello, and welcome to One4ALLisLove, Appreciating Life with Sonya Spirit. And who do we have on the line?
Rosemaria. How are you?
I am very well. Welcome to the show. And
Thank you.
what thought? Yes. And where are you calling from, if you don't mind me asking?
New Jersey.
New Jersey? Okay, excellent. All right. And you said your name is Esmeralda?
No, Rosemaria.
Rosemaria. Please forgive me. Okay, Rosemaria.
That's right.
All right. Miss Rosemaria, what is on your mind?
Yes, love.
Love.
Valentine's
I
Day.
like that. Oh, it is. That's right. This is the month of February and love and Valentine's Day. And how do you feel about love, Miss Rosemaria?
How do I feel? Appreciated, respected, and wanted in my life. Love
very
myself.
Good. Oh, very good. So you love yourself.
Right.
Very good. Excellent. Okay. Do you have any plans for Valentine's Day?
No.
But loving yourself?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, listen, that's a beautiful thing because everything begins within. So, do you have a story about life and love that you would like to share or a question?
I have one interested in not communicating with me, so I call here and there, but doesn't return the calls, and I know he does, and then he doesn't, so I don't know what the heck he wants, if that makes sense.
Yes, ma'am, it does make sense. Well, let me ask you this, Miss Rosa Maria. What do you want?
I know I want him. I'm interested in him. I do love him. So I want
Okay.
somebody in my life. Yeah, I've been with no one for a while, so time to have somebody.
Okay. So there is someone that you want to have in your life, but is he not ready? Or do
Uh,
y'all not want the same things?
uh, we haven't talked about that. I know we do, but he doesn't express it. He knows what I want, and kind of sort of know what he wants. Plays jealous, then he doesn't, then he doesn't want it, then he does. If that makes sense. Says stuff that, oh,
Yeah.
she's coming and this and that, and then in front of me it's like a different story.
Well, it sounds like he's not sure of what he wants. But to be quite honest, that's not your primary concern. Your primary
Right.
concern is, do you want to wait around for him to figure out that you are what he wants?
Um, I'm moving on, if that makes sense, at the same time.
Mhm.
So it's like, whatever. So, but nobody comes in, somebody different. So I'm like wondering if that's the one I have to wait for, or I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Well, no, it's okay. Well, the thing is, you don't want to wait for anyone.
Right.
Okay? And what I mean by that, you want to be active and productive in your own life.
Right.
Make you happy. Because what happens is when you start making you happy, oh, folks is going to jump on the bandwagon because people love that energy. So when you focus on yourself and making yourself happy, you will attract you'll attract a lot of attention, period. But you'll also end up attracting the type of energy you really want because you want to focus on you. You don't want to wait for
Right.
somebody to come and sweep you off your feet because truthfully, it's never going to be the person that you want. It'll look like the person that you want until you are in a situation.
Got it.
But all of that is all of that is part of the learning experience too. So if I were to give any advice, and if you were to listen, feel free not to,
Mhm.
would be definitely focus, figure out what will make Rosa Maria happy. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want out of life for yourself? You're going to attract the love because you have so much love to give. So you will attract that. But you want to make you happy now so that that is not the responsibility of someone else.
Right.
And you sound like you can make you happy. You sound like you're pretty in tune with yourself. You're pretty realistic about what's going on.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, you mean like focusing on myself, like doing stuff for myself, stuff like that, right?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Like whatever. What are some things that interest you, or what are some things that you're afraid of? You know, challenge yourself. Like I'm afraid of falling, so I want to go skydiving. I mean, and I'm really afraid, but it's something I really want to do too. So to a degree, I'm challenging myself that way. And when you get over a fear, it gives you a burst of adrenaline, but also of confidence. And yes, I'm talking about doing stuff for yourself. And it doesn't have to be something as extravagant as that, but um just start doing stuff for yourself and with yourself. You know, take walks or go to the library and sit in a section by yourself and read a book. I know all this sounds corny, but what I'm saying is basically tailor it to whatever it is that you like. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
But yes, whether you want to learn something new, you want to pursue a new business, uh, you know, whatever you have a passion for. But
Got it.
please, yes, ma'am. Please yourself and make yourself happy first, and love will follow. And the right kind of love, the kind that you don't have to guess about.
Got it. Cool. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you, Miss Rosa Maria, for calling in, and I hope that was helpful.
Yep, it was. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, let's see. We have another caller. Hello. Thank you for calling One for All is Love. This is Sonya Spirit, and who am I speaking with?
This is Nicole.
Hi, Miss Nicole. How are you?
I'm okay.
Very good. Excellent. And may I ask, which state are you calling from?
New York.
Okay, excellent. And Miss Nicole, is there something you have on your mind that you'd like to share?
Share?
Yes, ma'am. Do you have a question or a thought or anything?
Are you doing like readings now?
No, ma'am. I don't do readings.
Okay.
This particular episode is about appreciating life and, life being beautiful, living in harmony, understanding and appreciating God and love, that type of thing. Does any of that appeal to you?
Yeah. Like, I'm a little sick right now, and that can make it hard to feel better about everything, but it's like, I can really appreciate my mom. She's going through a really hard time, but I really appreciate that God put her in a better place while she waits for this thing to be over. She's with her sister, and she's feeling a lot better now, but she's also going through hard times, and I'm happy for my mom.
Mhm. And
She
how
does
do you
everything
feel?
she can for me.
You said she does everything she can for you?
Yeah.
When's the last time you talked to your mom?
Well, very shortly, like yesterday.
Okay. Do you get to talk to her often?
Yeah, I'd say pretty often. I try to talk to her every day.
Okay, good. Yeah, I know it's not easy. Even, when you feel like the inevitable is coming, it doesn't make it any easier. But try to think of your mom not being sick. Try to hold healthy thoughts of her, like when she was full of energy and the way you remember her being full of life and remembering her spirit when it was its most youthful and energetic. And that's the image you want to keep holding of her, even while she's going through this. And just, continue to send healing and loving light in her direction, so that, her transition, if it is to come, is peaceful and pleasant, without doing any harm to anyone. So, yeah, just try to think of all the pleasant memories or the pleasant thoughts, all the beautiful thoughts of your mom. Even today, the little things that she might do that might make you laugh or make you cry, but in a happy way.
Hey, what do you think about prayer? What do you think that it does? Because I pray the rosary every night, and no matter how bad my day was, I come back to the rosary every night, and kind of just brings me together, makes me think happier again, because I'll pray about all my friends and stuff. And
Prayer, Nicole, is magic. It really is. And that's why you feel that way. And you look forward to it. When you have a bad day, you actually have something really beautiful that you are doing as a practice, as a routine, like people brush their teeth every morning. When you come home and you unburden yourself, by holding your rosaries, you let go and you flush away all of the negative energy or adversities that you experience throughout the day, and you release it through those rosaries, and that's why you can feel better. Unburden your spirit. That is such a healthy thing to do, and I actually talk about doing that towards the end of the day, like right before you go to sleep, when you fall into a slumber. But any time, like I said, you already have a routine, so that's beautiful. It's a great example. But yeah, always unburden yourself. Don't carry anyone else's burdens, and don't carry any negative energy from experiences that you may have. Now, I know that's easier said than done, but bear that in mind, because that negative energy or those negative experiences only weighs you down. And you don't want to be weighed down. You don't want your spirit to be weighed down. But I think prayer is magic. And when I say that, I don't mean it willy-nilly. I mean it for real, because all words have energy, especially when you put your genuine and sincere emotions behind it. When we pray for other people, we're actually allowing God's energy and healing light to course through us and to other people. We get to direct it to where we want to go. So when we pray for others, when we meditate on the healing of others, we also benefit from it. That's why it's do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Because what you do to other people, what you wish for other people, good, bad, or indifferent, will also be given unto you. So always pray for others. Keep them in your prayers, whether they want you to or not. We have a tendency to pray for people we love, but, if we pray for those who have hurt us or we just know is hurting, that's beautiful as well, with nothing else to look forward to in return. Okay, Miss Nicole, if you don't mind, I have another caller. I hope that conversation helped. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, and you have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Hello, welcome to One for All is Love, Appreciating Life with Sonya Spirit. I am Sonya Spirit, and what is your name?
Hi, my name is Candy. And
hello, Candy.
What kind of show? Do I ask like a psychic question or?
Oh, I'm sorry, Candy. This is not a psychic. This is not a psychic show, unfortunately. No, ma'am. Actually, I'm just having a conversation about appreciating life, God, life, love, living in harmony, the beauty of life. So, do you have a question? Yes. So, I don't know if that's what you're looking for.
No, I'm just listening. I just tuned in. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Well, Candy, you have a wonderful day, and I hope you find what you're looking for. Hello, thank you for calling One for All is Love. Okay, or not. Okay, so let's get back to our conversation. No more callers. Although I love callers because I never know which direction we're going in. Okay. So, okay, just taking those calls, for example, I could have focused on my show, ignored the calls or the callers, but that's not what I wanted to do. I want to go with the flow. And so that's what I mean about being, just being. Now, I know that shouldn't be somebody's blueprint for life, is just being, but perhaps there's a point in time where it will be. That's the beauty of it. But for now, I know we need things like plans and stuff like that. Okay, so getting back to life, before the callers started calling in, we were talking about death and appreciating life. And also seeing the beauty. I'm so proud of me. I remembered something. And also seeing the beauty of an ending, because on the other side is an opportunity. Okay? So, and I know different places where people come from, and there's a lot between where you are in terms of how could this happen, I can't make sense of this, to everything happens for a reason and everything serves a purpose, and there is a blessing. There is a silver lining in every cloud or around every cloud. So there is a blessing in every adversity or tragedy or challenge. And also last week when we were talking about death, I spoke on how endings, even though it's an ending of a current situation or a current relationship or a current existence in terms of life cycle, and it's getting out of the way of a new experience, a new opportunity, a new path. But that ending doesn't necessarily mean that it will be smooth. It could be even traumatic. And see, that's where the perception gets skewed. But that is built into our lesson, because everyone's lesson is not the same. Everyone's lesson is not the same. You might be learning the same lessons, but the experiences won't be the same. However, so I did lose my train of thought. I was doing so well. But so the death can be traumatic. The ending can be traumatic. It could be someone's physical life being over. It could be a spouse leaving a relationship. It could be, your child, finding out something tragic about your child. I don't want to keep making up scenarios because I don't want to injure anyone. But whatever it is, you can think of some of the most heinous things. Believe me, I've had my share of entertaining them as well. And it's almost when I'm my most vulnerable. So this is what I've noticed. Okay. So, while I'm talking about these things, endings and deaths, I'm also having these experiences in my life as well, Now, the death was initially triggered by the whole Kobe Bryant death thing. And then I started having, digging into death and what does that mean. And then it got into the death tarot card and how it's talking about the termination of endings, and then getting into, death as far as the spiritual aspect of it. So, but I'm going through my own personal things. And, but the thing about it is, when you are like seeking the truth or on a path or awake, I'm doing the finger quotes, but when you are awakening, okay, you start to understand that, hey, I am more than this one perception that I've been embodying or identifying with for X amount of years. We won't get into the X, but anyway. And you discover that's not, I'm so much more than that. That's not even all of who I am. And that is the most limited aspect of myself. Okay? So, what's his name? Had a quote, Einstein. He had a quote. He says, problems cannot be solved by the same level of thinking that created it. So basically, in order to even perceive that you are more than your physical existence, you're conscious. I mean, you are aware, I am, I think, therefore I am, but you're not even just one being or entity. Yes, you're one physical creature right now, but there's like so much going on. You have the fire of life. You have God animating this body, not personality. That's the psyche. That's the soul. That's the water droplet to the ocean. Okay, that's the personality, the character, just the life. We call it the breath of life, but just the life that animates this body, not the personality. So there's so much more to us than we recognize. And when you start moving away from identifying yourself as just a human being or physical person and recognize, oh man, okay, so I got this personality, that's part of the psyche. The psyche is the soul. The soul is forever because it is a part of, it is spiritual material. And I use the word material, but it's spirit. It's not material. Material is matter. But it is a spiritual essence. It is a spirit essence, a spirit being. And that spirit being is housed into our physical being. So we have God, the essence of life or light, as you call it. And that is inside the psyche, which is the soul, which houses the personality and is responsible for subconscious learning. I'd like to call it long-term learning because the conscious is RAM, random access memory. Once the body is physically in, so will the conscious. And whatever you had in RAM is gone. Okay. So the key is to, of course, you want to develop, the purpose here is to develop your psyche, your soul, because that is what will carry into the next incarnation. So you got to get your programming right. So I know this is far-fetched and it's not for everyone, but this is where we are. So if you're here for a reason. So even if it repulses you today, 5, 10 years from now, you're going to say, hey, the crazy lady from Blog Talk, I remember her saying something like that. If it sticks, like I said, if you're here for a reason, if you're here, it is for a reason. And if it sticks, it definitely serves a purpose. If it's unbeknownst to you now, don't worry about it. It'll revisit because everything is cyclical. Everything is a pattern. Okay? It's so interesting because, okay, another interesting thought. So I was excited because the whole point was in order to begin healing yourself, you must recognize that you're more than your physical body, and then start recognizing the different components of your being and how do they work and what power do they have and how do I use it? How can I use it? Where can I find more information on how to use it? And when I say how to use it, the reason I never got into witchcraft is because I didn't know what I was doing, and I wasn't about to conjure something up. And there was enough for me not to do it, so I allowed fear to stop me from getting involved. Now, is that everybody's experience? Absolutely not. It was just mine, but it served a purpose for me. And whatever the purpose is, because it's not fully been known, but I do know enough now to know that that wasn't the route that I was supposed to go for whatever reason. Okay, so let's continue. So in order to correct our own patterns, this is actually going somewhere. In order to correct our own patterns and heal ourselves, we need to recognize that we are more than our physical body and that we do have the power and capability to do godly things. We have the ability to create. We have the ability to heal. So bear that in mind. Okay, now the catch-22 is, it's so funny. as a physical person, of course, we are an accumulation of all of our experiences. That was basically the message of the movie Slumdog Millionaire, because the young man, the teenager, the main character, when he got to the game show, the first probably, I don't know, first probably hour and a half or whatever it was, hour, 15 minutes, whatever it was about his life. So you could understand how it all worked when he got to the game show. But that's the gist of the movie. But what makes it interesting is it's a catch-22 because, hey, I can create my own reality. So we are in a cycle. Do you see it? This is an example of a cycle. We are an accumulation of all of our experiences. Of course, you can't see me, but I'm taking my finger and I'm drawing a circle going round and round. We are an accumulation of all of our experiences, and yet we have the power to create our own reality. And not only do we have the power, we exercise the power. That's why we have the life that we have. See, so if someone's allowed to fidget with your subconscious programming, then we all come in with our own operating system for all the techies out there. Old head techies like myself. But we all come in with our own operating system, Microsoft, Linux, whatever, Apple, whatever they call it. And then we begin perpetuating our reality as we have more experiences. So we have this core programming, and then we have physical experiences. And, of course, that has to do with, parents, family, your environment, whether it's a friendly or hostile one. All of that plays a role into the person that you become. However, like I said, you can create your own reality, but if you don't know that, all you're going to do is process the experiences you have had. So you don't know that you can create your own reality, and basically you're having these physical experiences, sensate experiences, and chances are you spend quite a bit of time, I don't want to say a lot of time, but quite a bit of time, and actually I think there's a numbers for them, but I don't have them in front of me, how much time people actually spend living in the past. And living in the past is replaying in your mind past events, something that has already happened, whether it happened 5 minutes ago, 5 hours ago, early in the day, 500 years ago. But generally it would be living in the past that generally included you. So most people, yes, they live in the past, and this is the reality that they keep recreating. That's why I say you have to remain cognizant of your thoughts. But you have to perceive yourself as not just a physical being. So you can say, hey, wait a minute, no, we don't want to entertain those thoughts. Don't be afraid to talk to yourself. There was a time when if people talk to themselves, they was considered crazy. Listen, if you ain't talking to yourself, you crazy. Because who you are talking to is the universe. And we need to learn how to practice speaking to the universe. And the reason I say that is because we need to focus on the thoughts that we entertain, the language that we use, the energy that we carry in our heart or emit from our heart, that is used to attract, because the heart is magnetic. So all of this is a part of our creative being. And we need to respect that we are a part of nature. While we are abusing nature, we are a part of it. So as we kill the world outside of us, so we kill the world inside of us. As above, so below. As within, so without. As without, so within. This is what this means, people. We have got to appreciate life, all of it. We must learn to love each other and be patient. And I know I'm the last person to talk about patience, but I see the beauty in it now. And that is a part of growing in life. When you can see something that was annoying or antagonizing and can find a value of appreciation for it, then that's the beauty. Okay, so let's continue. So I thought that was interesting, and that's really something to spend. Excuse me. And that's something you really want to spend time thinking about. The catch-22, the fact that we are an accumulation of our experiences, but we also have the power to create our own reality. So if we recognize that we can create our own reality, and we recognize that there is a cycle, there are patterns, then we can change them, because we can change ourselves. And that's why everything is easier than you think. There's only one thing you have to change, and that's yourself. You don't have to change. If you don't like the way someone is treating you, you don't have to change other people. Only person you got to change is yourself, because that's the only person you can control. Now, how does that change the situation? You change your attitude. If someone treats you badly, I'm not saying treat them badly, because we're trying to move in the right direction. But what you want to do is start limiting your time, if you have to be exposed to them at all, because, some people, it may be a workplace thing, or they may have issues with, some conflicts with people at home, and it's not as easy as just removing yourself from the situation immediately and forever, immediately and permanently. So, but you can reduce your exposure to people, and you can also choose how you wish to respond. Now, some people it will antagonize, and that's for them to deal with. What you need to focus on is you. So, like I said, you can't change other people. You can only change yourself. How you respond to other people and minimize your reaction. You do not want to get caught up in your emotions. And if there are people who have triggers, like they know how to pull your trigger, then those are definitely situations you want to work on. Not necessarily, like I said, you're not trying to change that person, but if you insist upon replaying something in your mind, if you insist upon living in history, then do this. Practice a better outcome. Don't revisit some sad scenario that took place earlier in the day and keep rehashing that experience and the emotions, because all you're doing is emitting that energy back out there saying, hey, we want more of that. So change the outcome. How could it have ended differently and better for all? And that's key. Just like I was talking to the person early on the phone, what you wish for others will also come back to you. You can call it the boomerang effect, but what you wish for others will also come to you. That's why you don't wish ill will upon anyone. If you said something ignorant, just hope your heart didn't mean it when your mouth ran off. But, so those are the things that we have to work on. Okay, let's see. Well, we talked about facing your fears joyfully. So, because that's the way that you learn and grow about yourself. Listen, God is all about change. God is all about emanating. Emanating is spreading, growing, okay? Emanating. So God is always growing, spreading, changing, growing. And the reason there is death is because it's the end of a life cycle. And so just as the law of physics states, energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's transferred, transformed. Okay? So when something ends, dies, decays, disseminates, it is being recycled. I was listening to a guided meditation not too long ago, and it's actually a good one, but he just says one thing about the universe. He was saying how we're going to throw it in the black hole, and he was saying that the black hole is the garbage can for the universe. And I was like, I don't like that term. I prefer recycle bin, if there's any truth to it at all, because there is no waste. In the wonderful world of God, there is no waste. How beautiful is that? Now take a look at our planet. Okay, we're not here to point fingers. We want to collectively congregate and heal each other and ourselves. And when I say ourselves, I'm talking about us collectively, as a population, as a planet. What is it? Oh, it's a documentary on Netflix. One Planet, I think it's called, or Our Planet. I think it's Our Planet. But anyway, and it's only like, I don't know, 7 or 9 episodes, but it's heartbreaking. I mean, the first episode alone will get you hooked. But I mean, it's heartbreaking. What I know we don't think about stuff like cruise ships. Oh gosh. But the cruise line and those cruise vacations really disrupt the ecosystem in oceans. And that ecosystem in the oceans, believe it or not, also affects the ecosystems on land. Everything is connected. It's all relative. You know, we buy into what we want to buy into. I'll just leave it at that. And we think of ourselves, okay, we're humans, so we're better than animals, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't mean we go out and maim and destroy them. We use their tusks for figurines and whatever else you do with ivory. Skins, fur skins for rugs and coats. And I'm not judging, because I was just as ignorant too. As far as thinking, all that stuff meant something. It meant you were well-to-do. But that's on a physical level, and it's such a it's such an imprisoned. I don't even want to say limited, because you have to understand the magnitude of the damage. It is an imprisoning line of thought as it is identifying yourself as a human being. Because we are limitless as spirits, and you are a spirit. But we have to get the physical identity out of the way. And part of that's why once you stop recognizing yourself or realizing that you're this limited being, you look forward to meditation and praying and solace. Just like the lady said earlier, she said, when I come home, I go to my rosary, and it just makes me feel better. I let it all out. And we should all do that once we get home. If you come home, I work from home, so. But we should all do that, not just in the morning, but, whenever we can think of it. Listen, what is it? The Muslims pray 5 times a day. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Whatever will bring us into harmony with nature, with God, with life, with love. All of that is spirit. And all of it is beautiful. So, look for the beauty, look for the beauty, look for the beauty. So I had another thought. I was like, well, what if you don't recognize that you're in a cycle? Does that mean you can't break it? And, of course, that's not what that means, because the universe said, hey, people break the cycle all the time just through their focus, just through their will, through their endurance, through their perseverance. So, no, you don't have to have an awakening that, hey, I'm not a physical thing. I'm actually a spiritual being, and I am limitless and can create whatever reality I choose for myself and pursue. You don't have to know that. You can do it. And you will still yield the same outcome. Hopefully, and throughout the process, you'll have some aha moments, which will introduce you to the same thought concepts that you should have been introduced to, if you chose a different avenue on the same path. Okay? I also want to touch on the law of expectation just a little bit, because versus, there was the episode on the law of attraction versus the law of expectation. It's not really a versus, it's just the law of expectation. More effort is put into it. Okay, more energy is invested into it from a personal standpoint. The law of attraction, of course, is the wish, the want, the will to have something or attract something, such as love. I don't want to say someone, because we do not want to impede anyone else's energy. That comes with a consequence now, and that's why I didn't get into witchcraft, because, listen, all I need to know is that everything comes with a consequence, and then you don't know what you're doing anyway, and we all, who haven't heard of ignorance of the law does not absolve you of it. Well, I was aware of it even when I was young. Okay. So you don't want to manipulate anyone else's energies. Now you can pray for healing light, and all of that is within the realm of life and God and love and spirit and harmony. That's why I include harmony in everything, because harmony means you are in flow with nature, and being in harmony is really surrendering control, if you want to know the truth about it. Learning to, and because when things unfold, because we have a fear-based mentality, or fear-based, we've been programmed with fear-based thinking or mentality, we have a tendency to talk ourselves out of things. Well, this might not happen. What if that doesn't happen? Oh, that I don't see that happening. Oh, I need too much. That depends on, where could I get that from? We talk. That's the imprisonment. We talk ourselves out of things. Okay, so or we second guess things. Something comes and it's too good to be true. No, I know better than that, and you miss out on an opportunity. So when you start, and harmony is my big thing, harmony, faith, truth, wisdom, love, okay? But love is so, all of it is overpowering, so we can only take it in doses. But, the living in harmony is you don't have to second guess, okay? And what it is eventually living in harmony that's the being part. You just are, and you are where you're supposed to be, and you don't have to think about anything. You don't have to second guess when you meet a stranger. It's living in love and not living in fear. And to be quite honest, it's probably difficult to imagine. Think about it. How often do you actually allow yourself to be open and feel the intensity of love? Yeah. It's not the little red heart-shaped Valentine figure. I mean, it's an intense emotion. That's a great representation of it, but it is an intense emotion. And it is beautiful, but if you don't see the beauty, it can be extremely fearful because of its intensity. So, in being a creature of duality, if we're not training ourselves or properly conditioned, then we will perceive things incorrectly. So, okay, living in harmony, incorporating harmony and faith, incorporated all just the words and any images that you would associate with, like harmony. I always have musical notes. That's whenever I say the word harmony, I just think of musical notes because that's what harmony is associated with, which is the universe. One song, one verse, one stanza, the universe, living in harmony, being in tune. Listen, we're not even going to touch on music. Music is like math. It is a language that the universe communicates in. Just like numbers is shapes, sounds, frequencies, waves, and particles. So, listen, if you don't walk away with nothing else, I am the accumulation of all my experiences, and I have the power to create my own reality. So you can break your cycle at any time. How do you do that? You start focusing your energy elsewhere. We manifest wherever we focus our energy, as in pay attention. What do you pay attention to? Do you think about work the whole time you're at work? Do you think about people in your life? Do you think about somebody doing you wrong? What thoughts are you holding? Are you living in the past? Do you spend the bulk of your time when you're not at work? Do you spend because work is supposed to keep you engaged in that moment, doing something for that employer or company or whoever. When you are not at work, what thoughts do you entertain? Are you living in the past? Are you reliving events and people and relationships from the past? And if so, are you okay with your present reality? Because if you is, then this show isn't for you. Because if you're happy, listen, it don't matter where you're at. If you love your life, love it. As long as you don't do harm to anyone, and hopefully it's bringing you closer to God, but it's still your path. So if you love it, look, things will unfold in their own time. I'm not here to preach or teach. I'm just sharing. And sharing is caring. Okay. So, yes, what we want to do moving forward, whatever ending you have just experienced or is about to experience, embrace it. Because there's a lot of love packaged in there. The more intense the pain, the greater the learning opportunity, the greater the blessing. But if you don't see it, it's not there. It's not there. That's why perception is reality. It's how you perceive it. Do you perceive the good? Do you perceive the bad? Are you indifferent? Your perception colors your reality. So that's why, in order to break the cycle, you don't focus on the past. You focus on your present and you focus on what you want. And then invoke the law of expectation and begin mentally preparing for it, planning to receive it, executing or doing whatever it is that you need to do to help it come to fruition, and then accept it when it manifests. Welcome it with open arms and share that blessing if it's a blessing to be shared. And you can share a blessing without actually sharing the blessing by sharing the story of the blessing. Look, we spread bad news fast. We can spread good news just as fast, just as quickly. It's a choice. And it may take you a while. It may take a day. It may take a month. It may take a year. It may take 10 years. But I am responsible for my healing, for my growth. The universe will send guides, so you are never alone. But you have to be open and receptive to love, to change, to life, to living in harmony. Okay. The irony of the universe is both dynamic and systemic, both creative and orderly, cause and effect. And think of fear as a self-defeating program to stifle your growth. So there's actually like a virus. Think of fear as a virus. There's a virus in your operating system that prevents you from being as creative as you could be. It hinders your growth to the point of decay. Isn't that what a virus does? It feeds off the host until there's no more host left. So, fear is a virus. And remember, the body can heal itself, so purge your virus. Purge your virus. Purge. So ask the universe, what's holding me back? How am I holding myself back? What is it? I mean, if those are your questions, remember the universe is going to answer. It's all about the questions. The questions are more important because they force the universe to respond. But you have to be paying attention. So you have to be awake. You have to be alert. Alert. If you ask a question, be prepared for the answer, okay? And for some of us who might be a little delusional, I know I have been from time to time. The answer may not be what you want or what you were expecting, but it is what you need. So think about that. And another reason why questions are so important, because it initiates a chain of energy that responds or is attracted to answer the question. So the question attracts the answer. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, fellow healers and spirit beings, thank you so kindly for your time and attention. Thank you, callers, for calling in, whether it was by accident or on purpose. We thank you. And next Wednesday, we got to get on the good foot. Okay, I'm going to post next Wednesday show by Saturday. I'm going to get better at this. All right, so that's all I have. Let's pray, continue to pray and meditate, sending out healing light to our friends and family in need of healing, of help, of health. Thank you, and have a great week.